I want to go back to Heroes.
Sure.
I fought long and hard with myself trying to figure out which stories I wanted to ask, because I'd love to have you back in a few months again to talk about a few more episodes. It's like, which ones do I talk about this time? And Rob Cooper and I had recently sat down and discussed him bringing Heroes to life and adding a subplot with Robert Picardo and, you know, to fill it out to 2 hours. And that episode, based on my understanding of it, was not typical because it was originally designed to be earlier in the year. And then Cooper had to go to the network and say, you know, we've got this idea for 2 hours. Can we expand it? And my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but my understanding was that it wasn't, parts of it were just kind of shot all over the place, like shot when you could get to it. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if memory serves me correctly, I think we actually shot a great deal of that episode as a second unit because, again, we were getting these great efficiencies where we were doing a lot. We had basically built ourselves a second unit crew, you know, from the core production crew that we had. And we certainly had all the resources available to us to be able to do it. So if while one episode was shooting, our B camera operator, Andy Wilson, who we upgraded to director of photography, he and I basically would go off and be shooting scenes from Heroes. There was obviously a fair bit that was done first unit, but there was a significant amount that was done as a secondary unit. And I would literally be, you know, trying to steal the actors whenever I could. You know, if I knew that Amanda had a little bit of a break between scenes, you know, I would literally be, hey, Amanda, I can squeeze in do you have a little bit of time? We can actually grab this interview scene with you and Woolsey, and it'd be great if we could do that now. Are you okay to do that? I mean, we'd schedule it obviously as best we could, but there was the opportunities, or we would look for opportunities where we could beg, borrow, and steal wherever we could. And the other sort of strong memory for me with Heroes is it just seemed to go on forever because of the fact that I think there was a hiatus in there.
Yeah. I can't hear you.
Oh, hello.
Okay, there you go. You said go back to, I think there was a hiatus in there.
Yeah, I believe there was a hiatus somewhere within the shooting schedule of Heroes because it seemed to go on forever. It was the episode that just would not. It just kept on giving, and when Rob was able to, I mean, yeah, good on Rob. I mean, he saw the potential in that first hour. That I think we were probably 20 minutes long. I don't even remember exactly, but it was
sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it was about 20 minutes long, but it was good stuff, you know, and you know, credit to Rob, credit to our entire cast, my gosh, and to our guest stars. You know, we had Saul Rubinek, who, you know, he was a handful. He was really invested in the character, and he had a lot of discussions with Rob. You know, they had a lot of closed door.
They said that there was some very passionate discussions, particularly about the conversation about his speech in the hallway there, which I will contend is one of the best speeches in the whole show.
I seem to recall too, there was I think Rob was on set when we were shooting that.
Yes.
And I remember Saul, did he tell this story? Because I think Saul, after the speech, he looked over at Rob and was like, huh? Yeah.
Exactly right.
Isn't that right? And, okay, good. I did get that story because it was actually pretty neat. And it was, you know, I could see Saul's position because he would obviously, because I was on the set directly with him, and if he had ideas on things, he would often, you know, run them by me or would at least say, hey, I want to talk to Rob about this because I've got some thoughts and this is what it would be, what would be involved. And there was no way I was about to, you know, sort of give him the opportunity to do that without Rob's authorization. So I made sure that they got together and worked things out. And to both of their credits, they listened to one another and they worked together. And hey, I think at the end of the day, it was all good. It all worked out for the better. And that second hour, when Rob went back and wrote the remainder of the material and brought Picardo in, because I think that was even Robert Picardo's first.
That was his first. And my understanding was he did it in one day. Was that correct?
Yeah, I think he did it in a day, and I think it was basically his character introduction in the series.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. He comes in as the hatchet guy.
Yeah, the hatchet.
I can't fathom the brain that it takes to remember all of that information and get all those lines out in the correct sequence in one day. You know, that's a lot.
Oh yeah, it is. It was a ton, and I had this sort of goofy plan of sort of transitioning, and Rob and I had talked about this, of transitioning the characters within the context of the interviews.
Right.
So he had to do it in a very fragmented way also, because we would be like taking people out of the chair and drop the next person in while the camera continues to move. And,
right.
And it was a little bit of a brain twister for all of us, quite frankly. And hats off to Robert, because he was just unflappable and was just happy to be there. And he was so well prepared and such a great guy, real classy guy. And really, really enjoyed him. And he did such a terrific job. And of course, you get somebody like Robert Picardo on set, and everybody elevates to.
Oh, absolutely. He has. I mean, not only does he have an amazing background with all he's done, but he has the sci-fi background as well, so he gets it. It's like slipping into a pair of leather shoes.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's very well put. Absolutely is the case. And the other thing I kind of, the fond memory of Heroes for me was, obviously it was kind of our, our love letter to the armed forces, which was an important thing for us to do. But it was also just the level of investment from all of our cast, and tonally was so different. We saw components of our cast that we had never really seen before: a sensitivity, a realism, vulnerability, big time. And there was one scene I recall where it was with Amanda storming down the hallway from an action sequence where obviously something very traumatic had happened.
Fraser's just died.
Janet Fraser had just died, and so she was a mess. And we tried to shoot it as much as possible just from the documentary camera's point of view, and it was really powerful. Like, I remember just on the day shooting it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that like, you really felt the emotional weight of Amanda's performance there. And they were all doing it, all of them. I mean, Chris Judge in his interview, Mike Shanks throughout the whole thing. I mean, they were all amazing. They really were. There was another thing that was quite funny, actually, that I remember about, I'm sure Rob mentioned this too. It was after that hiatus. So there was a hiatus because Rick came back and he cut his hair. I don't know if you heard about that one.
Yes.
You know about that?
And there's no cut between scenes. No, it's just a hallway change or something, and his hair is shorter.
Just all of a sudden he's got shorter hair, and hopefully no one's going to notice. I remember, like, Rick,
I didn't notice.
Man, we're not finished this episode yet. Oh, really? Oh, well.
Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah, the hair's cut. I can't put it back on now. There it goes.
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. You can find the full live stream shows on our YouTube channel or visit dialthegate.com for the complete schedule. See you on the other side.